Hey, I'm Sug.
And I'm Dan.
And this is the Demystified Zone.
The one podcast that could get you into a North Korean labor camp.
Hey, what's up, listeners? Dan, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little cold outside, but we're all right.
You all right? Yeah.
It's a citywide pastime in Chicago to complain about the weather.
Is it though? Aren't we over that yet?
I'm not. I've lived here most of my life.
Yeah. You know what though? Today's a special. Actually, today itself is not a special day, but 4 days ago it was a big moment that passed. Do you know what it is?
No.
Cue happy birthday to you. KJU.
Oh, really?
Yes, his birthday just passed.
Ah.
January 8th. Happy belated birthday, dear leader of North Korea, Kim Jong Un, a.k.a. Marshal. Marshal, we wish you a belated happy birthday.
Really?
As far as we know, that's your birthday. I think that's your birthday. According to the North Korean calendar, we don't know. According to our calendars, that is about his birth.
That's really funny.
What would you say to him today? You know, he's like my age.
Yeah.
He and I are peers.
What would I say to him?
He's an 80s baby.
I would say there's a different way, man. And leave it
on his birthday. You would give him
I would say happy birthday and all that. But if I had 5 minutes with him, I'd say
what birthday present would you bestow the great leader of North Korea? What would you get him?
I would get him some sort of Bulls paraphernalia for sure. Yeah.
Yes, his great. What would you get him? A jersey, shoes?
I don't think he would look good in a jersey. I don't know.
He's gonna need that quadruple X.
Yeah,
4XL.
I would get him a T-shirt. Yeah, a jersey T-shirt.
You know what? I think I would. That's true. Bulls jersey, Bulls paraphernalia. That'd be nice. I think he'd appreciate that.
Like the shorts. That's what I'd get. Not the shirt. The shorts. He can wear around his house.
Like Jordan shorts, like Bulls shorts.
Yeah.
You know what? Though most people don't buy shorts. Maybe he doesn't have that. Most people just buy. That's it's a thing. But you know what? That's not a very kingly gift just to give him the shorts.
Knowing what I know about him, it is a very kingly gift.
I feel like I would give him one of those Staples buttons, the red buttons, just to be like, and it would say, "Don't push me," which I feel like would, he might enjoy the humor behind that too. Like he feel it's a double entendre that don't press the button, but also it's like, don't tell me what to do, don't push my buttons.
Oh, I see.
I see. Get it?
I get it.
Don't push my buttons. You think he would like that?
That's cute.
I think he would like that. And maybe, I throw in a Bull's hat. If it can, there's one that can fit his head.
If we could get like a cartoon of him saying that, or, something depicting that, I think that would be cute.
We got the funds for that. Mike, you know how to do that? Can you animate a cartoon for us?
And put it on a T-shirt?
Yeah, get on that, Mike. Start animating a hypothetical of us presenting Dan Bull shorts and me my Staples button.
Yeah. I think he would. I don't know if he'd understand the pun.
Do you think they sing Happy Birthday over there? It's a capitalistic song, so
is it?
Probably for sure it is.
Yeah.
I wonder what their Happy Birthday tune is. What's the Korean one? It's the same tune.
It's the same tune. Yeah,
just in Korean.
In Korean.
So the South Korean one. I'm sorry. So I wonder what it is in North Korea. That'd be awesome if we could find out.
Yeah.
Let's make one up. Dan is actually a very prolific musician, y'all.
All right. Here's how the tune would go.
Let me hear it.
It would be definitely military march, right? Dung, dung, dung.
I'll do it.
Dung,
dun, 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 Use the Korean. Speak the Korean.
생일 축하해. 생일 축하해. Kim Jong Un.
Missile explosion.
Yeah, something like that.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yo,
it's one of my hidden talents.
That's a great. I love how you added the regal vibrato.
That's how they always sing. Yeah.
I think he would like that. We should record and send to him. At least do an animatic where we pretend, sing it to him, and present our gifts to him. Happy birthday, KJU, aka Marshall. You know, we're gonna call him Marshall now because that's his American or Westernized name. Westernized name, Marshall.
Marshall.
Which is peculiar because he is, you know, he went to Switzerland, Swiss school around the same time a certain other Marshall in American culture came into popularity.
Yes.
Mr. Marshall
Matters. Yes.
But we don't know. Maybe like to your theory before, maybe he has other, you know, connotations. Yeah. Which were?
Yeah, Marshall as in like the military sort of connotation, like military leader.
Capitan.
Marshall. Yeah.
The big captain.
That's what he should have named himself.
Capitan.
El Capitan, if he went to Spain for school.
It wouldn't be the first time they use Spanish names. Remember his brother used a Spanish name?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Into Disney World Japan.
Yeah.
Or Dominican name.
Dominican passport.
Well, happy birthday, Marshall.
Thank you. Yes.
We don't approve of what you're doing, but we still wish you a happy birthday. In hopes. Sure. Our wish for you, our birthday wish for you is to go back to your roots.
Yeah.
Go back to your childhood roots of the love of Western culture, which we know you love. Don't lie. Please don't lie. Come on. We know.
He knows the Bulls sub 500 record right now. Sure.
Yeah, he's following.
Oh, sure.
For sure he's following. He's got DeMar DeRozan's jersey at home and a Levine jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Marshall, hopefully when you someday get Dan's shorts, that'll inspire you to be.
I didn't poison them.
To be better. Yeah, they're clean. He washed them.
No anthrax.
He wore them only
on
one or two times.
Yeah.
So today, if you haven't guessed already, we're talking about our main man, Marshall. We want to know all things KJU. I've been looking forward to this episode actually a lot.
It's a very interesting topic.
Because I was so curious myself. So we're going to look into our man, Kim Jong Un, and we're just going to talk about, like, where did this dude come from? What's his background? Like, what do we know about him? And this is why I like it. It's because it's filled with speculation. No one knows.
It's like
no one has the full picture.
We know a lot and we know a little. It's very strange.
We know a lot and nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's jump in. Okay. So we got a few, again, my savvy internet research here. Feel free to listener to go and find out your own information and send us some tidbits. Send us an email of what you've learned or what you think you've learned, because I don't know what I've learned. All I've learned is that, okay, per normal Korean dictator relations and upbringing, he got sent away at a young age to a Western country, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Thanks, Swiss, for being that neutral. Well, Sweden's the neutral country. I guess Swiss is pretty neutral too, huh?
Isn't Switzerland neutral, Mike? I believe they are. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being as much, crap as other people give to you for being whatever. Thank you for taking in the dictators of the world and giving them Western education.
I will never wear K-Swiss shoes anymore. Sorry. A 90s shoe.
Great. Now we just lost some ad sponsorship, Dan. Thank you.
K-Swiss.
I don't resound that K-Swiss, okay? Please send us your shoes.
Yeah, it would be a great crossover. K for Korea, Swiss.
I don't know.
We lost them. No,
I think you need to stay out of the marketing game and stick into the world geopolitical affairs game. Fine. All right, so he went to... All right, let's start from the beginning. Let's start way back in the beginning. Marshall, birth year is unconfirmed, but from what we know in terms of the Western calendar, solar calendar, it is January 8th, and we think it's like 1984, which would make him my peer. I'm your hyungnim, though, buddy. I got the age on you. I got 2 years on you. And Dan for sure is your hyung. All right? So he was born in the 80s, sent to the International School of Bern in Bern, Switzerland, which is like a suburb. We got some. If you guys look this up, you can find some images of like where he went. It's a pretty modest suburb looking, like it's
Yeah.
actually pretty podunk. It looks a little bit, like it's
The
not
school
very,
picture, yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't look like a dictator would send his kids there. Yeah.
It looks like my Hangoro Hakyo.
That's Korean school.
The Korean school I didn't go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I would constantly ditch. Which is why I'm so bad at Korean.
It does. It does.
You know what I mean? It looks like a
Yeah.
church building or something
Right.
like
It does look like a Korean church building.
that. It does, 100%. It's like a bi-level. Is it a school? Is it
Yeah.
a multi-purpose rec center?
Yeah.
Is it a food donation bank? We don't know. It's
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like that looks like a loading dock right there.
It does. Yeah. A loud train.
And there's a
moving
train
there.
track that runs right next to the school. Okay, so this is where young Marshall went to school. Apparently he went there. We don't know what age he actually was sent out, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It says, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, around age 12 he was sent.
Okay.
And he was there for about, you were saying 14. Something else I read
14,
was
17. Yeah.
So he was
In
there
that
for a
range.
few years at
Few
least.
years, right.
We don't know how long.
Yeah.
And he got his Western education. The Liebefeld Steinholzli School, which is the name of the school or International School of Bern, is I guess it's known in English-speaking circles. It's an international school, so there were a lot of obviously other international children.
Yeah.
So all the information we're getting is like from teachers or students
Fellow
that
students,
knew
yeah.
him, which that to me in itself is mind-blowing. Can you imagine sitting next to that weird Korean kid in class and it turns out this dude is the next dictator of North Korea?
Well, yeah, this New York Post article, which I don't recommend for any source of like concrete truth. As a former journalist, I have some issues with the way it was written, but it is very interesting.
I loved it.
It's very entertaining, and it describes his friend from school who said that Marshall one day confided in him that he was Kim Jong Il's son, but he didn't believe him. His friend didn't believe him, right? Because that does sound like something your friend would say in elementary school.
But at the same time,
right?
You ever watch that Christmas movie, 8-Bit Christmas?
No.
It just came out. It's so good. It's with Neil Patrick Harris and like Steve Zahn. It's a great Christmas classic. It's almost like same story structure as like a Christmas story, like a kid trying to get a Nintendo. It's a great story. You'll love it. Go check it out.
Yeah.
There's a character on there called Kevin Farmer. It's in Chicago too, by the way, which is really fun. I'm ad popping this movie way too much, but there's a character named Kevin Farmer who's like the pathological liar kid that we all grew up with, who was like, I have a Nintendo. I have 3 Nintendos actually, and they were like all sold out, and like he constantly lies.
Yeah.
But that would be, I could see that. I could see no one believing this. I mean, I don't think he said it, but who knows what he said. I think he was the silent type because he came in as a kid, a third culture kid who doesn't know
the
not
language.
third culture. He's actually a second culture. He just came in as an immigrant basically. Probably was a little insecure about that, but maybe he wasn't. Who knows?
He couldn't keep up with the language. I forgot what language they were speaking at the school, like the Swiss German accent or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is a funny thought in itself of Kim Marshall speaking German. Can you imagine that? Right?
I can, actually.
I kind of want to hear him.
Yeah.
Not that he would speak any other tongue but his mother tongue, but what an interesting thing to hear as a teacher or a student. For
sure.
So he was sent there. Okay, and I just want to give you some. Okay, this is from that Post article, which again we don't know how accurate this is, but it's just fun to believe that this is true anyway. Some little bits here. So they said he was a reserved kid. Then this is from teachers and fellow students. Reserved kid who could be temperamental and obsessed with basketball, especially Michael Jordan.
Yes,
I already love this guy. He's my best. He's my friend growing up. Right now. All right?
He was us.
He also loved, get this, Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
That is you, man.
It's me. He's me.
Oh my god.
He grew up. This is like my long lost brother, my cousin. He's my cuz.
Jean-Claude
Marshall,
Van Damme.
cuz, we could have chilled.
Yeah, definitely.
It was also said that he wore only. This is when we start to separate. He only wore Adidas tracksuits and Nikes. He had a collection of like thousands of dollars worth of Nikes and Jordans, which
I'm
Marshall,
sure he still has.
That's where our paths diverged.
Yeah.
I had whatever hand-me-down was going to fit me from my other brother. You had a nice outfit of, apparently. I wonder if he was like a little like hip-hop kid too, you know, like if he sagged his tracksuit a little bit.
I mean, you got, okay.
Sponsor.
NBA fan, Adidas tracksuit.
90s action movie.
90s, and he named himself Marshall. If I had to guess, he's also a 90s hip hop fan. Which is crazy to me to think about that.
Or he got into like Nirvana and like the grunge rock scene, alternative grunge. He could have been that.
Yeah.
Or he was like a Celine Dion guy.
Or Michael Bolton.
Titanic.
Yeah, that's Titanic time.
Or maybe he was like Erasure and like Michael Jack. There's a lot. I wonder what he listened to.
The 90s gave us so many things.
But
NSYNC.
Okay, and the reason I know that he was in Switzerland, y'all, and we're not overlooking that fact. I'm sure there's some great Swiss artists out there that were, but this guy was clearly into one, Chicago culture,
yes.
NBA culture, and two, you know, he loved American stuff. That was his thing.
That's crazy. And that's why when he took office, people were speculating, oh, he's kind of like a different type of president or leader of North Korea. They were saying that when he first took office. Oh, maybe he'll embrace capitalism. Maybe this and that.
Yeah. And they also said, though, he would fail after the first year.
Yeah, that's true.
Because maybe for the same reason.
Right.
You know, like the regime would not take him back.
Yeah.
So there was this guy, a teacher, Michel Reason, said that he remembered Kim as a good-natured 14-year-old with a sense of humor. He said he often walked to school from the unassuming home where he lived with his aunt and other family members, not far from the North Korean embassy, and they were told his name, he went by Pak Un Chol. That was his pseudonym. And his cover story was that he was the son of a North Korean diplomat, which I guess is not true.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And that looking back, this teacher remembered him as a friendly, gentle Asian boy. That's me. He just described me. Got a little temper.
I don't know, gentle. I don't know.
He had a temper.
He did have a temper as well.
I have a temper too. We all do. We all have our faults.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Kim was so crazy about basketball that sometimes he slept with one next to his bed. And he was explosively competitive on the court. Explosively competitive.
Yeah.
I feel like someone's reading back my diary. Like reading back my childhood to me.
Yeah, it describes like almost every Korean kid we grew up with here in Chicago. It's
many,
crazy.
For sure, many. He could have why did they just send him to Chicago? He could have been here. We could have had a different outcome, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
But okay, so more on him. So here it says the teacher said he was a 14-year-old. So I think he might have stayed to like 16 or 17. Or maybe he left when he was 14. Who knows? But that he went abroad often and spent family vacations skiing in the French Alps, going to Euro Disney in Paris, swimming in the French Riviera.
Yes.
So he did it all. Like he lived up the Western capital. Come on, North Korea. That's a little hypocritical. But you let your great leader do this. Obviously, it was all in quote unquote secret.
Yes.
But okay, let's. What kind of kid was this? Who do you picture here? What do you think he was like? You think he was Richie Rich? He had a silver spoon in his mouth and he's just like
I think he got whatever he wanted for sure. But he couldn't be so forthright with his wealth.
Mm.
So
He's a kid too. Maybe he just didn't know.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if he came to Europe when he was 12, he experienced the opulence of
that's true.
his palaces and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very, yeah.
What kind of kid do you think he was? Well, we know that he wasn't that bright. They kind of put it in here that like he was not. He wasn't a dullard, but he wasn't extraordinary in academics.
Yeah.
But he loved basketball.
He loved basketball, man. He loved the basketball. No, I mean,
am I describing Jack a little bit? No,
Jack is not dull.
Jack is not dull. He's a very bright boy, but he loves that basketball. Does he sleep with a ball?
He sometimes definitely has his basketball stuff all around him in bed.
So Jack is showing some resemblance to Marshall. Not everything. You know, though, he is a friendly boy. Jack is a very friendly and funny boy.
Yeah.
Again, he's not Marshall, obviously. He didn't.
Well, under the right circumstances, you know.
Does he wear tracksuits and Jordans all the time?
He has Jordans.
Does he like hip hop, 90s hip hop?
I hope not. I hope he's not listening to that.
If anything, he shares his love and affinity for Jordan.
Jordan, for sure.
That is the strongest connection there.
It is the strongest tie that he has to.
And then we'll introduce him to the Van Damme movies soon enough. Soon enough, Jack. It's coming. Does he still listen right now? Is he listening? Is he gonna be listening today to this?
No, I don't. I think he stopped a little while ago.
He got disinterested when we.
Yeah, after he came on, then he was like, "I'm good."
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Marshall, KJU, goes to International School of Bern for his teen years, better part of his teen years. In 2000, we think around 2001. He comes back to North Korea after it's like his what do they call that? You know, like when I think the Mormons do that, or maybe the Amish do. They have like the little getaway. They can be whatever they want. Well, it's the Amish that do that, right?
The Amish, right?
Yeah. They have their what's that called, Mike?
Rumspringa. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So he has his little Rumspringa. I wonder how that lasts for. How long does that last for the Amish?
I think 2 years, right? A year or 2 years. Yeah.
Whatever it is. He has his.
Yeah.
Comes back to North Korea. He gets enlisted into the college. His college is Kim Il-sung Military University.
It is the Harvard of North Korea. Tops.
But is it like the only school?
I don't think so. I think
Harvard if it had no competitors. Like it's the University of Phoenix and Harvard at the same time.
I think it's genuinely difficult to get into Kim Il-sung University.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they only put the best of the best in there, right? So he's in this military university, and then it kind of like his history goes a little dark from there because, you know, they send him to this university and we don't know what happens. And at the time, obviously, his father, Kim Il-sung, is in power anyway, and we don't even know if he's going to be the successor yet because he is number 3 in the order of 2 older brothers, just like me. He's just like me. We're the youngest of 3, and I am the golden child. Just kidding, brothers out there. So he had 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
But it says here most, like the CIA, the experts were saying, he was favored to take over because he had I don't know, I guess he didn't have a friendly disposition when he came back, but he had the kind of like the cruelty and cunning of soon-to-be leader.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, let's go through the tree real quick. We're not going to spend too much time. So, oldest brother, we know it's his half-brother. Name?
Kim Jong Un.
Nailed it. We know what happened to him.
Yes, unfortunately.
If you guys listen to season 1, you'll hear all about how
Big Brother, it's called.
Big Brother got taken out by little brother.
Yep.
Middle brother, which we don't talk about,
is
technically was in line.
Yeah.
Because older brother was out of the picture like from the get-go. He had made it clear Disney World over regime.
Which Kim Jong Un went to Disney
He
World in
did.
Europe. What the heck?
He did. He didn't fall in love.
I guess so.
I guess
He didn't do it
Bulls basketball wasn't enough to pull him out of the regime. He knew he could get the best of both worlds. with
Right,
Bulls.
right.
His love was Bulls basketball.
He had a little patience.
But Disney, you're either in or you're out. So Kim Jong Nam, and then middle brother, his name is Kim Jong Chol.
Yes.
He's out. Well, he's not out. He was not favored.
He's still alive and in the regime. He doesn't have any political connection. I just learned this this week in researching. And he's a huge Eric Clapton fan.
Okay.
And
That's his deal. He's a music guy.
I think we need an episode on this.
Okay.
Japanese journalists go to every Eric Clapton show to scope out for him.
Just
That's
to
how
see if
big
he's
of a
there.
fan he is.
Oh my gosh.
Just to see.
It's like
if
Where's
Kim
Waldo?
Jong Chol.
They're playing Where's Waldo in the crowd.
they got their.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So wait, tell us why he was not the heir apparent.
I
even
don't.
though he's
Yeah,
the
I
older
don't know.
brother.
It's very opaque, but he is not political at all, which probably keeps him safe, right?
That and okay, so this is what I just saw some like keywords dropped in about him. From what I can tell, it was that he was too weak,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I don't know what that. I mean, that could mean anything. Like the guy can't bench much, or he's just
I don't think they're
weak-willed,
yeah, I
maybe
don't think
sensitive.
they're-
Maybe he was a little
Yeah.
more sensitive.
Yeah, I think
Eric Clapton. They saw Eric Clapton as a weakness in him.
Tears in Heaven.
Yeah, like so. This guy was just written off.
Yeah,
And
I
then
guess,
number 3 was Kim
Marshal.
Jong Un, and he was the golden child. Which again, like when he was growing up, and I guess this happens with any kid. I guess spoiler alert, Dan, watch out. They're cute and friendly now, but who knows what kind of ruthless person they're gonna turn into when they leave the homestead. Watch out, Dan. you better make sure those kids of yours are just really, fawning over your every word.
Yeah.
But well, actually, to that point, I guess he did turn back to daddy and
Yeah.
follow in dad's footsteps.
He did. He's the one who curried favor from his dad.
Which is like, okay, for the listeners out there, at the time, paint the picture, Dan, because I sort of understand this, but you lived it. It was like everyone thought this dude was going to be Mr. West. Like he's going to come back and bring in Western culture to North Korea. Like he was all those things, and then something just like flipped. What happened? Like,
so I was listening to some interviews with Anna Fiffield. She wrote a book on the early life of Kim Jong Un, and she was talking about that, and she said something very, very insightful. She said that as people early on in his regime said, "Oh, he might bring Western ideas and a more Western style of democracy," she said at the time, I thought the opposite, which is because she said that he realized that his system in North Korea was the only place where he would be king or respected. In Switzerland, he was a nobody. Right? He was some kid. He wasn't popular. He wasn't praised at all. But back in North Korea, man, he was the king's son. At the age of 8, I guess, he got his own official military dictator's uniform. And it was a real thing. And so he was treated like a prince or a king, heir apparent. And going back to that, he's like, she thinks he was like, this is the only way that I can live like this.
he got picked last on those basketball teams. That's what happened. The Swiss kids did not pick him up. He was if they had only picked him first, maybe we'd have a different regime today, huh? Think about that, Switzerland. Just
It's your
kidding.
fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
But no, that makes sense. He had the silver spoon. He got a taste of the rich life.
Right.
And
And
then-
outside of that,
And then he lived
was
as a normal person.
right. Rich, but a
And I
nobody.
wonder, maybe with his brother, it was opposite. Like he was living that rich, crazy life, and then he saw the freedom life, of like he didn't want it, he didn't need to be, he could be everybody else.
Right.
Maybe it was a little bit of personalities too, of like wanting to be number one and not, like that.
Yeah,
type A personality or whatever that is,
Right. Maybe Kim Jong Un came back and he was like, okay, I gotta be the next guy, and so
Or he wanted it.
Yeah.
You know? Apparently, the other two didn't want it.
yeah, exactly.
Huh.
He had
Which is
that
a lot to
ambition.
shoulder too. That's not nothing, but that says a lot about your personality too. Like going back into like
I want to be dictator.
yeah. I mean, you got to right
Yeah.
at some point. You got, like I would assume that the people pulling the strings, which at the time was his aunt and uncle,
Mhm.
which later he had assassinated. Notes. Well, his aunt and uncle were like pulling the strings, and I'm sure they slapped him up real good and told him, "Hey, this is the reality. You gotta like be brutal." And then that probably backfired on them too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that this is crazy. Like,
It's crazy.
what kind of childhood is that? I can't even relate to that. Like,
No.
let alone the silver spoon life, the returning to be the all power the living god of a country.
Living God. Yeah, that's the there are other kids, like kids of presidents or kids of, heads of state, but going back and being the head of the eternal the descendant of the eternal president and supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Il Sung, right? I mean, that's
a lot of
something.
pressure. Only one other person in this world has experienced that. His name was Jesus, I guess.
Yeah,
Being
seriously.
the living God, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's huge pressure as a kid knowing that. But I don't know. It's just weird. Like, you never know with like people's psyche and the way they grew up, nature, nurture, whatever, like a combination of both, what someone's how they're going to rise to an occasion,
Right, sure.
and or how they will take that. Obviously, we know now in hindsight because he's turned out to be just as ruthless as his father.
But okay, so how does one grow up in that environment with a level head? Right?
Yeah.
We have to question that. But to push back, I think many analysts would say he has a completely level head. Right? Yeah. His ambitions are crazy. He wants to remain dictator, all powerful, and God of his land.
Yeah.
Right? And in order to do that, he had to do these crazy things. He had to assassinate his uncle.
He's got to play the game.
Not assassinate, but by firing squad, was it? I forgot.
He had him executed.
Yeah, he executed his uncle in
And
order to do that.
and his uncle's posse, like people who were around his uncle.
Exactly.
Which his wife, his aunt as well.
Exactly. And his uncle is also a descendant of Kim Il Sung.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
Crazy.
Well, okay, so that's
Yeah.
really interesting you bring this up because as I was reading into this, everyone, all the the articles and reports I'm reading are like, he turned out to be just as ruthless, I don't know if that's fair. Like, I'm not doubting he is. He did the things
Yeah,
he
he is
did.
ruthless.
That's his consequence.
Right.
But there's this one CIA analyst, I didn't write his name down, but he has this quote where he says, Marshall, I shouldn't say Marshall. Marshall inherited the nukes, the repressive bureaucracy, the gulags, the fear,
Yeah.
and there's no way to escape it. If he wants to survive, he has to continue the brutality
Right.
because there's no other way for him. It's like, the best example I have obviously come from another movie. It's like, if you're gonna be in the mafia and like you want to live that, like you don't want to live that life, but you're born into that life, you just
Right.
like you have to do that, or you gotta run away, like the older brother tried to do, right? Like, so either if you're gonna accept this and like want to live this life, you have to accept that. So again, I'm not saying he's not ruthless. He's not. We just don't know the full story. It's like how much of this is like he's got to play the game in order to be in that power seat,
Right.
and I don't know. It's so hard to tell what's possible, what's going to change, and what's not, and how can you make change in something that's so inherently built into the fabric of society.
I think the insanity comes in the just the desire to be that person, right?
Yeah.
But all of the other things that he's done is very pragmatic to keep that seat. That's how a lot of people would look at it.
Yeah. Like those were necessary steps.
Definitely.
You know, he's playing Game of Thrones, basically.
Right.
Like,
Right.
That's what it is.
Because we look at it from our, if you follow the law, right, and you work hard and you pay your dues, then it'll pay off. We live in somewhat of a meritocracy, right? People would debate like how much of one it, but somewhat, right, of a meritocracy.
With at least the pretenses and intention of being a meritocracy, you know, like
exactly,
right.
That is what we're told as children, right?
Yes,
and that is what I think many people subscribe to. And from that paradigm, of course, this dude looks crazy.
Yes,
but he doesn't work from that paradigm. Does
he? and the regime, and that's the whole thing we always talk about. Like that. That's the most I feel like maybe nebulous concept about North Korea is like who is pulling the string? Like who? It's not one person.
Yeah.
It's a collective mindset and culture that's been built over decades. And you can't point the finger at one person.
Yeah.
It's everyone. Everyone is living in this paranoia, this fear, this history, this false history, the false information. And maybe not everyone believes it, but like everyone's still going along with it, you know?
Right.
And it's like, who's going to be the first? You can't just be... It's not going to be one brick to pull it out and make it fall. It's got to be like a whole wall of people that come out of that and people of power and authority, which it's the worst at the highest levels because not only do they have all the power and luxuries of life to like live that way, which is a temptation to keep going.
Right.
It's also, you're not going to want to be that. You can be the uncle.
Right.
You could just be erased.
I mean, think about all the crazy things they had to do to even get to that point.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to get there and say, okay, I'm good now, right? They're going to be just as ruthless and diabolical to keep that.
Well, yeah, they're always watching their back.
Yes.
And we've kind of established, if you listen to an older episode in season 1, we talk about that, how like everyone is taking notes on everyone. Like no one is safe from any prying eyes, including the eyes that are watching, you know, like everyone except the great leader, except he may be the sole exception.
I don't know. I think he's got to watch his back too, man.
Sure.
And I think that's why his sister is around, because he feels like he could maybe not trust her 100%, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But trust her the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's just I guess the point there is just there's nuance to every situation. Even in this one where again we don't want to say that he's not ruthless and he's not, but there's way more to it than just that. Like, I mean the whole system is crazy.
It's easy just to paint him as a crazy person.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what excerpts are saying though is like his father was a little bit more just like his Kim Jong Il came off way more just like this dude is just an evil dude. Like he just looked like he looked and acted like a god.
Yeah.
Like he thought he was a god rather.
Right.
Kim Jong Un has shown like signs of humanity, right? He cried at his father's funeral. Like he apologizes to the people. You know,
he likes Michael Jordan.
He likes Jordan. He likes Rodman. He had Rodman sing this really awkward, sexy, happy birthday song to him, which is so weird. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was so awkward. But he did those things, and then okay, so, he did these things, but like, some are saying like maybe he's even smarter than or more cunning. He's playing the game even better because he's now showing like, who is this guy? Like, is he a good guy? Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's trying to get people to believe he's a good guy. Who knows?
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's really interesting.
Well, on that note, and in honor of his birthday, let's go over the milestones and celebrations and accomplishments of Marshall.
All right.
And okay, the first is he set a lot of records. Here are all his records. Okay, just the things he's broken in. And if you haven't picked up yet, this is going to be very sarcastic. So not good records. All right. He is the first leader to meet in person with a South Korean sitting president in South Korea.
Yes.
Set foot in South Korea in over 65 years. That goes back to great-grandfather. Like no leader from North Korea has ever gone to South Korea, let alone shook hands and hung out with the president.
Yep.
First time. Good job, Marshall. Also, first to meet with a sitting American president.
Yep.
in Singapore, which was, not in America, obviously. That would have been crazy if he came here.
Yeah.
First U.S. sitting president to meet in person with the great leader.
Yeah.
And then actually a whole bunch of other cabinet officials too, which never had been done before.
Right.
He's the youngest great leader, and there's only 3. But he's the youngest great leader ever to take power.
Yeah.
He was around between 27 and 29 years old. Again, we don't know the true date of his birth. So in his 20s. Can you imagine that? In your 20s, you take the keys to the country.
The button.
To the nuke. You get the button in your 20s.
That I would not have given it to my 27-year-old self.
Okay. All right. Here's another award for you, Marshall. Most nuclear tests and missile launches ever of any regime.
Congratulations.
In fact, he hit the amount that he's launched missiles and done nuclear tests exceeds the combined total of both his father and grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And part of that might be modernization, like he's got better tech,
Yeah, he had more nukes to test.
They didn't have the air-powered missile launcher.
The crank-loaded missile.
The ballista.
Yeah.
That shot it out. And then obviously the most Jordans owned by a North Korean. He holds that title. Most
Definitely.
Air Jordans.
I think he has the Jordan 1s for sure. Somewhere
he's got
in his
all
palace.
of them.
Yeah.
He's got all of them.
Yeah.
I think he just has them made too. Like in his North Korean shoot factories, rip off versions of them. He's got all those.
Yeah. Yeah. He also, legend has it, has shot out a light bulb at 100 yards with a handgun.
100 yards.
100 yards.
That's not as unbelievable as 18 hole in ones,
Yeah.
That maybe maybe this is a compliment that his claims to fame are somewhat believable. Maybe believable. But his dad was an expert marksman.
Oh, was he?
A pistolier. There's videos out there of Kim Jong Un going crazy on these pistol courses, and he can he can shoot the eye out of a bird 100 yards away or something like that while it's moving.
Yeah, sure.
Where did you hear that from?
This woman, Anna Fiffield, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they get some pretty serious training. Look at those extreme soldiers we talked about in the last episode. You know what I mean? These
it
guys
would be awesome if he went out there and started running through bricks and stuff.
Especially with this. He's got the head for it, I'll tell you that. That noggin could do it. It could break anything. Diamonds, maybe.
And that is another thing he has in common with my son, Jack. Huge head.
Huge head. He's got a big head.
It's okay.
Happy birthday, Marshall. Hope you change things around in 2023.
Yeah.
You gonna say anything for him?
There's another way, man. There's another way.
That's come on, be a little more positive. What's another way we can say that it's a little more positive and welcome and encouraging?
And encouraging. You can display your greatness in another fashion.
Let me try it. Here it is. How about this? Remember the days of your youth, Marshall. Don't focus on when you weren't picked when you were picked last. Focus on the love of the game. The love of the game. Remember the love of the game.
Yeah.
And share that with your country. And I don't just mean basketball. That's my way of saying there's another way.
Yeah. We hope you're okay. And happy birthday. I don't know. I can't warmly say anything to him. I just can't.
I get it. It's okay. You can just say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, reluctantly.
Enjoy the shorts, Marshall. Hey listeners, if you want to learn more about what's going on in North Korea or want to help out by donating or volunteering, check out our website at crossingbordersnk.org.